Hey friendos, it's Adamoshi as Karrot. So in today's video, I'm finally going to be finishing up Karrot 2.0's head. So pretty much I'm just going to be making his hair tough, I'm going to be making his teeth and his tongue and just doing a few other little finishing touches. So let's just get right to it. So I start off using a pet razor, and I'm just gonna shave down the fur all over the head where the fur is short. It's just a little touch-up shave, makes it all nice and even. If you looked at it up close, like some of it's a little longer, you kind of see it there on the ear there. The pre-shave helps a whole lot. It makes it look so much nicer and more clean looking, and that way the fur is of the proper length and it's shaped to the head, if that makes sense. I will also take some scissors and kind of snip away little pieces around like the nose and the little blue dots around his muzzle there. But mostly just taking the razor and just going all over. And it makes the markings on the suit pop out so much more. Like after I shaved the head a little bit, you can see those eyebrows are just really, you can just see them so much better, a little more prominent. It's a much cleaner edge to the shape. I do use the razor around his eyes, but I usually just take a pair of scissors and kind of clean up a little bit. The razor has those little teeth on the end, and I don't want them to nick the eyes because it's made out of that craft foam material. So I rather just get as close as I can to the edge of the eye and then use scissors to clean up the rest of it. I also try to shave in the direction of the fur fibers as much as I can, make it look nice and clean. Really, it's just on this suit the way it is right now before I add the neck. It's just the cheek fur and the back of the head that's long, so I'm just going to shave down the rest of it. It can be really awkward in some places, so I have to really bend his ears back. And as always, it's incredibly messy, and as you can see, I'm wearing a respirator and I'm wearing goggles. The fur fibers get everywhere, so I recommend wearing a respirator and some eye protection. On the back of the ear there, where it's a little shaggier, but as I shave it down and clean the fur up a little bit with the razor, you can see how much nicer it looks. It doesn't look as messy. You don't want to shave too far down or too hard to the point where there's basically no fur and you just expose the backing that the fur fibers are connected to. he already looks so much better. And taking the scissors and cleaning up around the eyes a little bit and around other places like the mouth, the nose, the eyebrows. Alright, so here I have a piece of paper. I'm drawing out a teardrop shape and just kind of tweaking it to the shape that I want the hair to be. And then I just place it on his head to see how I like it, and I continue to shape it until I'm happy with how it looks. I always like giving the fursuits really big hair tufts. You can do whatever shape you want, it doesn't really matter. I'm making the templates for the tongue and the teeth, and I just take it and I put it on the suit and to see how it looks. So I'm going to use the blue Minky and I'm going to trace my template on that and cut it out. And then I want to pin them together and sew them later. So here I'm doing the two sides of the hair piece. I add the seam allowance, paying attention to the fur direction. And I'm going to cut those out. And I brush them out, and then I pin them together with the inside out. You know, I'm going to sew these two pieces together, but I want a little opening so I can stuff it with polyfill later. Now I'm going to sew my tongue, the two pieces together. And then I'm going to clean the seam where the two pieces meet. It's a pretty simple shape, pretty easy to do. And now I'm going to sew down the middle so it gives that little crease in the tongue, and sew the hair piece as well. The hair piece was a little complicated because it does have a little top piece. I'm going to sew that by hand because it's a little awkward to get on the sewing machine. Since I sewed down the middle, it's got that little crease. I'm taking some polyfill and stuffing one side and using like a little pencil to stuff it down in there until I get it to the way I like it. So he has like a little crease, and there's the tongue. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and sew up the end, and that way the polyfill won't come out while I'm trying to sew it into the mouth later. And now I have a little opening where I didn't sew to stuff this polyfill in. I do it in little pieces at a time, and I use a pencil to like shove it down into the very bottom corner. And then once I've got it filled to the way I like it, I'm going to hand sew it up with a ladder stitch. And then I'm going to brush it out to hide the seams. So here I've got some material for the teeth. It's just a white cotton material. I've been using different materials trying to figure out what I like the best. Trace that template onto this, sew it up, and then cut it out, flip it inside out, and then I fill it with some polyfill. And then I sew up the bottom of it. So here I'm making some templates so that I can line the eyes. This is stiffened felt. So now I'm going to take regular felt and I'm going to add little details and line some of his features. So add a little line going down from the nose to his mouth, and then I'm going to line his nose with some felt. I just cut out little strips and I hot glue them on. I feel like it makes his features pop. Also add this little piece here. I think it's just a cute little detail. You don't have to do this. There's no real right or wrong way to make a suit. Customize it the way you like. So here, these little pieces I made in an older video. These are weed eater line, cut into little pieces and painted them. And so I saved them for this step. And I'm basically cutting a little hole through the blue part of the little dot, gluing it into the foam. That way it's more secured that way. And then I line the dot with some felt. I'm going to take some more felt and just line the top and bottom of his mouth. It just makes the edge around his mouth look nice and clean and crisp. It doesn't take a whole lot of hot glue, just a little bit. So I'm also adding a little piece here to give him like a little smile crease. I just think it's really cute. The little piece that's perpendicular to the mouth is stiffened felt, whereas the rest of it is just regular felt. Here I was trying to figure out how I wanted to line his eyes. I'm going to use regular felt to line the bottom of his eyes, and then the stiffened felt for the rest of the eye, as you can see there. Because it looked really weird with it all being the stiffened felt all the way around. It just looked like he was wearing like weird shaped glasses instead of it looking like a part of his eye. I think this looks so much better than what I had there before. It makes the eyes pop so much. It just looks so good.
lining them like that. And it especially gives the toony style suits even more of a cartoon feel to them with the black lining like this. So now I am going to cut little strips of just regular felt, and I'm going to actually line his eyebrows. You don't have to do this, but the old suit has his eyebrows lined, and I wanted this suit to be as close as possible to the original, but just like an updated shape and better quality suit. Once again, it gives him more of a cartoony feel. Clean up around the felt strip. I just do the other side, just taking it in smaller sections at a time. I know you can't really see it really well. I'm trying to sew in his tongue. I started with the middle of the tongue and just lined it up in the middle of the mouth, from the middle to one side and then the middle to the other side. When you're trying to sew the tongue in there, it just keeps it more even and it doesn't shift around, because it's really awkward to reach down inside the mouth. Even though he doesn't have a very big snout, it's just still hard to sew inside there. And so the teeth here, they're kind of flat, so I'm going to add some hot glue and just kind of glue them towards the front of the mouth. Always test fit first before gluing them in, and I just hold it there. And if I need a little more, I just add a little bit more, but very little. I would rather add more if I need to than to put too much and screw it up. So now I'm going to start sewing the hair onto the top of the head. I do one side and then the other from the back. And then I'm going to do the same in the front, where I sew one side and then the other. I'm just brushing up his hair there. When you're trying to sew from the outside like this, using a curved needle helps a whole lot. Now the hair is nice and secure. It shouldn't flop around. And I give him a little brush. I put him back on the mannequin head using some saran wrap to cover the neck part. Now this mannequin does not have shoulders, so I have to do the best I can. I put it on this box and I'm just kind of fanning out the duct tape pieces. And then I'm just going to draw where I want to cut it, and I'm just going to do one side and then mirror it for the other. I'm sure there's a much better way of doing necks. The necks are notorious for me. Like, I just can never get them the way I want them. This is better. This is the best attempt I've done so far, but the necks always give me so much trouble. No matter what I do, I just struggle with it so much. I draw on which side is the front, which side is the back. I'm just doing one side and I'm going to mirror it to the other, and then I just draw the fur direction, and it's just all one color. It's just orange, so pretty simple. And I'm going to trace those out on paper. And then I'm going to trace that onto my fur. I label which side connects to what, and if it's the front or the back. I trace it one way, and then I flip it over, trace it that way I can have both sides. And then I cut it out, and I'll clean it up a little bit, get the little loose fibers off of it. Pin it together and sew these pieces together. Keep your pattern pieces until you're completely finished. So I should have complete front side and complete back side of this neck piece. And now I'm sewing these pieces all together. So now I kind of pinned it on in a few places to the head, and now I'm just going to do a ladder stitch all the way around. I will start sewing from the middle of the front of the neck and just make my way all the way to the middle of the back of the neck, and then I'll do the other side the same way. That way it's not one continuous piece of thread. just kind of a last moment detail. I'm just sewing on these little pieces of fur to put inside of his ears here to give him a little detail. This was just a last moment detail that I wanted to add because the old Karrot head also has a little bit of fur inside of his ears, and I was like, well, I would like to add that for this one as well. I did that for both sides. So now I am going to take this neck lining and sew it onto the neck. I'm using a stitch where I just loop the needle back through the thread itself, and I use upholstery thread for this as well. And I did that, I used upholstery thread for the neck and for all these little pieces that I've been doing by hand. All the stitches are nice and even from each other. And my cat's very curious. He wanted to stick his head in there. He's always very curious about my Fursuit projects. He's always up there watching me or just hanging out with me. Some Fursuit makers will cover the entire underside of the neck here. Like, there won't be any of the backing of the shag fur showing. They will completely cover it. You don't have to do that. So there he is. He's all finished now. He looks so good. I am so happy with how he turned out. He looks perfect. Like, it's basically my drawing came to life. Like the eye shape and like the style of the head and everything. I just love it so much. Ah! He's so cute and he's so fluffy. And I'm just testing out, like, seeing how the eyes go back and forth. Yeah, his ears bend, and you can actually bend his whiskers. They're not stiff. And there he is as a finished full suit. Yay! I am finally finished with this whole entire project. Yay, he's got a swishy tail, so I just put him all together. I have been working on this off and on for the past, like, over a year now. So he is finished. Oh my gosh! Ah! He's so cute. I always like to do the heads last when making a full suit because it gives me something to look forward to at the end of the project. Yeah, his back of his neck is a little ruffled up there because the collar I have on kind of scrunches it up a little bit. I need to get a different collar or just make a new one that doesn't scrunch it up so bad. But look how cute he is. Oh my gosh, I just love him so much. And he's so fun. Yay. So, yep, this is Karrot 2.0. The head is 2.0, but the body is new and the tail. So I hope you enjoyed watching this whole process. Thank you for watching it, and I plan on making more suits and uploading more videos making other suits and doing other species. I already have a plan for my next suit. There's a side view.
Now that Karrot 2.0 is finished, I plan on making more videos creating different fursuits of different species with different color palettes, and I hope eventually I can sell fursuits in the future. So if you join me on this journey watching my videos creating Karrot 2.0, I just want to say thank you so much. That means so much to me, and thank you for over 1,000 subscribers. That means a lot to me. I never imagined that I would even get close to that. So I am so eternally grateful. Thank you so much. And I hope you continue to enjoy the content that I make. I'm going to be making some more fursuits. So I already have a plan for my next suit. It's going to be a mini partial. It's just going to be head, hands, and a tail. But I am going to be posting videos making that suit. It's going to be a different species with a totally different color scheme. I hope you enjoy watching that suit come to life. So anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day and night. See you later, alligator.